Data inconsistency is such a headache. When we're looking at customer databases, right, email lists and so on, and our contacts are written in different ways, right, meaning we don't have consistency on how data is filled out. This can be such a big headache for businesses. And if this is the situation that you're facing now, you came to the right place, because in this tutorial we're going to talk about using AI to automate data consistency, essentially, right? We're going to get AI to help us ensure consistency on, in this example, on a Google spreadsheet. The exact same logic applies to other apps as well, okay, where your data might be sitting. What is the main issue with data inconsistency? Well, look at this situation here. This is a fictional email list, right? I have state written in different ways. Someone from my team wrote California, someone else wrote Cali, someone else wrote CA in all caps, right? The issue with that is that suppose that we are looking to send a marketing email to all our customers based in California. So we go to our CRM and marketing tool and create a list called state is equal to California, right? The problem is that this list is not going to capture people who have state CALI or state CA, because these states are written in a different way, and so the tool doesn't really understand that, and our list is smaller than it should be. So this is just one of the examples of a bad situation caused by data inconsistency. I can give you many more, but let's not spend time on this. Let's go straight to the solution here. Let's learn how to use AI for these types of situations. We're gonna work with a Google spreadsheet, and we're gonna work with make.com. I've been playing a lot with make.com recently. If you're following me here on YouTube, you know that I have a playlist full of make.com fun AI automations for businesses, and this is another one that I've created here. So my automation works like this. As soon as a new row gets added to my spreadsheet, which is this one here, I'll get AI to standardize my state names, basically, and update the Google spreadsheet as soon as it happens, basically. Let me just run this and you'll see the result here. So take a look at how my list is now, right? Now, let's run my automation. Cool, California changed to California, written in proper written way. And I could run this more times here and you would see the other state names also formatted, right? So let's go ahead and let's talk about how I created this automation. Once again, you can apply the exact same logic to other apps you might be using. Okay, so make.com is an AI automations platform. It's a platform that allows you to connect different apps and leverage AI to do the stuff that you want to do in a more efficient way. There is a link for you to sign up to make.com in the description of this video, okay? If you're not familiar with the platform, soon here in the channel, I'll be publishing a full-on tutorial on make.com for beginners, okay? Where we talk about what it is, how to use it from scratch. But just so that we don't spend too much time on basics, because we want to talk about this automation here. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to head to our make.com account, right? You can do this within a free make.com account, just so that you know. And we're going to click to create a scenario, which is basically an automation. A scenario is an automation. It's something that it's a process that you automate, right? Same as with any other type of automation, you basically need a trigger to get started, which in our case is a trigger based on my Google spreadsheet, right? So all I have to do is select Google Sheets as an app here. And I have to select what kind of trigger I want for this automation here. I am going to choose this option, watch your rows. What triggers this automation here is basically, well, what it says here. It triggers when a new row is added, right? There are different types of triggers that I can use in my automation. It doesn't have to be when a new row gets added. It can be a new row gets updated or something like that. There are many different types of things I can go for, as you can see here. But to make this easier, watch new rows. This will trigger as soon as a new row, okay, a new row gets added to your spreadsheet. This is what's gonna happen. Good. Now, I have to make sure that I have my Google Sheet connected with make.com, right? This is the very first step here. I already did this in the past. That's why I'm seeing all these different connections here. If you haven't done this, you have to connect make.com with your Google spreadsheet so that you can authorize make.com to do things in your Google spreadsheets, basically, right? This whole automation doesn't work if you don't do this connection, but it's very straightforward. All you have to do is log in, authorize, and things like that. And that's pretty much it. Just a few clicks, I promise. Let me just make sure that I have the right spreadsheet selected for this automation, which in my case is the fictional list state names spreadsheet. This is the name of my spreadsheet. Okay, now I just have to format it a little bit. Does this table contain headers? Yes, it does. Here's my header. It's in row 1, right? So yes, the row with headers is A1 to E1. So let me just update this here. How many times do I want a result to be fetched within an execution cycle? What I mean by that is, if I turn this on and get it to run every 15 minutes, this is an execution cycle, right? And so in this case here, every 15 minutes, make.com will see if there is a new row added to my spreadsheet. If yes, it will get one of these rows and will execute automation for that. And then 15 minutes later, it will watch again, and then again, and then again, and then again, okay? Let me just do one, because my spreadsheet is quite small anyway. So this is my trigger here. This is basically my trigger. Now I can choose for it to start looking at all my rows, which, you know, in my case, doesn't quite make sense. I have some rows that are already updated. I don't want to go about this like that. So I want to basically choose manually. I want this automation to kick off only from this row here, which is the last result that I have. Okay, so let me just select this option here. But you can choose when you want to kick off this automation, basically. Then I'm going to use AI to format this data for me. Which AI tool should I use? Depends on you. This is your, you know, choice here. I typically go for ChatGPT. Is my tool of choice for most things AI nowadays. Maybe changes in the future, who knows. For now, ChatGPT is doing the job. So I'm gonna select the OpenAI app here, and I'm going to select the action create a model response, which is basically like, I'll give it a prompt and ChatGPT, why don't you know, come back with an answer for that prompt the exact way I want, right? Create a model response basically means this. I'll give you a prompt and then you give me an answer, right? There are different types of options I can go for. Let's not go there. Let's stick to the basics. This is definitely the most popular option for using AI for these types of automations. Now, once again, I have to make sure I have my ChatGPT account connected with make.com. I have to do this in the first place. I have to choose a model. I typically go for 04 mini in terms of model. It's cost effective, right? If you have any question on models, I'm adding a link in the description below, okay, where you can read more about that. I wouldn't go for GPT-5 right now at this point in time, just because it will use more tokens for that type of automation. It's not as cost effective, basically, but that's totally up to you at the end of the day, right? Go for your Gen AI tool of choice and use the type of model that you typically use for, like, if you were going to do this inside your Gen AI tool, which model would you choose? Go for that, okay? That's my advice here. But anyway, let me just choose this and let me copy and paste the prompt that I prepared here. 1 second. This is a text prompt. Okay, and the prompt is the following. You're a data cleaning assistant. Your task is to standardize US state values into their full state name, regardless of how they are written, abbreviation, nickname, or shorthand. Only return the state name, nothing else. I simply want you to give me the written full state name. That's all I want. If the input does not match a valid US state, return null. Okay, I don't want ChatGPT to start creating stuff. Here are a few examples. FL is Florida. Florida, right? Cali, California, CA, California, and so on and so on and so on. Okay. Now, which input are we standardizing? We are standardizing this state column, okay? Just so that ChatGPT knows what to work with. Where did I get this from? From this step, okay? So anytime I'm automating stuff inside make.com, I'm basically choosing things that I extracted from previous steps. In this case here, as soon as a new row gets fetched, right? A new row gets analyzed, so to say, I get different types of information from that row, the row number, what goes inside the name, what goes inside the title column, what goes inside the company, right? So all these different data points are being looked at, so to say. The specific information that we are focusing on here is the state name, okay? Is the state column in this case here. So that's what I'm doing here. All right. Basically, every time you're building these types of automations, you're choosing things that you're getting from previous steps. That's how it works. And to finalize, I'm going to get make.com to actually update that same row, right? And so I have to add once again a Google Sheets step, but this time the option I'm going to select is update a row. because I want to update that exact row that we were looking at, right? And so let me go ahead and select the exact same spreadsheet, which in this case here is the state names, and I'm going to sheet 1, that's correct. Now, which row are we updating? This is what make.com needs to know. Well, the row that we are updating is that row that we were looking at in step 1. I don't want you to go and update any random row. It has to be the same row that you were looking at in step 1. And so in that case, let me go ahead and make sure that row number is mapped out here. If I don't do this, make.com is not gonna know which row to update, right? I'm simply getting what I got from here, okay? So a new row gets fetched by my automation, right? The row number is 1, okay? That's the row number. I want the row 1 to be updated in my last step, not row 15, if that makes sense. This is what I'm doing here. This is a little bit of a field mapping here to make sure that make.com updates the right thing, right? Now, what exactly are we updating? We're updating the state name, right? We're updating whatever goes inside the state column with the result that we got in the ChatGPT action. And so we're going to do the field mapping here, but we're going to choose what we got from this step here, okay? What did we get in this step here? We got the result of my prompt, which is the state name. And so I'm going to add the option result here, okay? I'm doing this in a quick way, but basically in an ideal scenario, the way you would do this is you would test out each row. Let me show you how to do this. Sorry, test out each module, not each row, okay? This is a module, this is another module, this is another module. Let me show you how to test them out. With the right button of your mouse, you're going to click on run this module only, okay? As soon as you run the module, look out for the output pack of information. It's giving me a bunch of different things here. And it fetched one row here, which is Tiago's row, right? So Tiago, this person here, okay? Tiago, founder and CTO. So inside loop is the name of the company, right? Inside loop.ai, and the state is CA, written like this, okay? CA. And that's exactly what I have here. Okay, so it did a good job. It's working. Typically when we have a little credit use signal here, it means that it did a good job. When you get a little red cross, it means that it didn't do the job. Something wrong happened there. Let me show you how to run this module here. Run this module only. Suppose that someone wrote a state in a weird way. Let's just do New York, like this, right? Instead of writing New York, this person wrote New Y. So, okay. Let's see if ChatGPT does a good job here at writing it properly. And here you go, the result. Okay, the result, hopefully this is not too small for you to see, but the result is basically New York. So it got the prompt that I provided it with in this step here. It looked at New Y and it updated it. It gave me the outcome as in New York, as it should be properly written, right? And then to finalize, you can also test out the update a row action, but just so that we don't spend too much time here, let me go ahead and let me show you the whole thing from scratch. Let me simply add, okay, a row here, and I'm gonna run the whole automation at once, and we're going to see this, specifically this cell here being updated. Okay, so give me 2 seconds here. Okay, so I went ahead in my spreadsheet and I updated a row here. I actually added a row. Talita founder, name of the company is okay, cool. And the state is written as NJ. Okay? So it's an abbreviation of a state name. Now I'm going to run the entire automation and we are going to see whether this exact cell here gets updated correctly. So go back to make.com. Let me just run this automation here. Run once means I want to execute all these steps in my automation. And here I get a little log of all the actions that happen in that specific step. Okay, but let me go to my spreadsheet, and here you go. New Jersey got updated correctly, right? This is a cool thing about working with make.com. You can see the log in the actual step. So if I click here, I can see what exactly happened. If I click, I can see everything that happened. And if I click here, same thing, right? And this is valid for any automations you set up. And this is good because if you end up with an error, you can find out what exactly the error is because you can see where it is located, right? And make.com will typically tell you as well, hey, we have an error here and that's because of of XYZ. But this is a very straightforward automation for ensuring data consistency, and the exact same logic can be applied for any apps that you might be using to host your data, right? Once you're done with your automation, you can click to turn it on, okay? On free make.com account, you have the ability to turn it on for every 15 minutes, meaning every 15 minutes, this automation will run. Every 15 minutes, make.com will see if there is a new row added to my spreadsheet, okay? With a paid make.com account, you can decrease this interval. You can do 5 minutes, 1 minute if you want. So this is the types of intervals that you can choose, and you can choose other types of intervals as well. If you don't need every 15 minutes, only once a day or whatever, absolutely fine, you can just change it up here. But some of these options are exclusive to paid plans, just so that you know. This is pretty much it for today. So a really short, really straightforward automation here. Check out this playlist here on my channel. We have many more make.com AI automations for businesses, connecting different types of apps to make your work more efficient.